Welcome back to the December 2024 edition of the Savvy Scrapbookers. This month we're going to be using the Flurry of Fun paper and stickers. And if this is your first time joining us, there's three of us that do a collaboration, Nicole So and Donna Gus. And we take this paper pack, divide it up between the three of us and the stickers, and we do 6 pages. So you're going to get to do your first 2 pages with me, then check out the links below, click on them, and do the rest of your pages. Let's get started. So we're going to grab 4 pieces of paper from the Flurry of Fun. So grab the 2 that look like this beautiful snow falling onto the snow-covered ground. Those are going to be your base papers. And then we need this one that looks like a red and white plaid. We're going to be using both sides of that one. And then you need this blue, beautiful paper. It's got the stripes on the back. And it doesn't really matter the direction we're cutting that because we're not using the striped side today. You need a piece of red cardstock. I'm using cranberry. It's just something deep red. So that's what we're going to be cutting. You will also need the Border Maker cartridge. Flurries and Mittens and Flurries, very fun little Border Maker cartridge, and your Border Maker system, okay? And you will need the smallest circle from the cutting system along with your red blade, okay? So let's go ahead and start cutting all of this. So grab your trimmer and let's start with punching. I will do that first. So put that aside, grab your Border Maker and your Border Maker cartridge and your paper guide and put that in right like that. This one is so cute. Look how cute that is. It's adorable once it's punched too. So go ahead and pull that out. We're going to do this twice. And it leaves you with these little flurries, the little snowflakes, and little mittens. Okay, and we're going to just, because we're not using any more of this paper right here, I'm just going to flip it around to make it easy. And make sure that you're watching the videos below from Donna Gus, the Lazy Scrapbooker, and Nicole So, Nicole Scrapbooks, because you're going to get to do 4 more pages, okay? So don't forget to do that once you finish watching this video. And we can set this aside. Now we're going to need our trimmer, and we are going to trim this off. Let me clean this little mess up so it doesn't get in our way. Okay. And I probably just moved my mat so it's all crooked. I hate when it's crooked on a video. We are going to trim this at, let me bring this in so you can see it, 1 1/4. So just bring that over here, line it up with 1 1/4. Make sure you got your straight blade in and trim, and do that one more time over here, 1 1/4. And trim that off. Now this is extra paper, so set that aside. You don't need that. It's nice when we end up with extra paper. And let's move this, and we're going to move this aside, and we're going to go to our next piece. And our next piece is the red and blue plaid. So grab that. And it doesn't really, I don't think it matters which direction you cut this at all. But we are going to cut this on this side to begin with, because we are going to be matting that behind this. So we just cut this at 1 1/4 inches. So I want it ever so less, I don't even know how to say that, just a little bit, smidge less than 1 1/4. So find your 1 1/4 line, it's right there. And then I backed it up like 1 little notch. Okay, and we're going to do that twice because that's going to mat behind there. So find the 1 1/4 and back it up a notch. Okay. So now that's going to go behind there. Now we're actually going to be using this side. So if you want to flip it over, just so that you'll have the right setup when you start putting it together. Our first one is going to be 4 3/4. So that's the half mark. So we're going to bring it over here to 4 3/4. And there's the long strip we're going to be using. Now we need a 4.5 by 6-inch mat, okay? So actually, because we're gonna be cutting something out of this, I don't wanna go too far, so I'm gonna do my 6-inch cut first, because we're using this and we're gonna be cutting a circle out of it. Now, if you wanna do a 4.5 by 6.5, my picture just happens to be a little bit smaller. So we've got, if you wanted to do that, you could, but or just a 4 by 6 mat, whichever works for you. But I'm gonna do a 4.5. Okay. We're going to set that mat aside. We're going to set this aside just for a second because we still got to cut our cranberry cardstock. And we're going to bring in our smallest circle. And we are using the red blades today. And if you remember, we got 3 different color blades. We've got the red, green, and blue. And we are using the red. Okay. Get that opened. And it's got the 2 little feet, so you want to make sure, and we're cutting the smallest circle red blade on the outside. So you want to make sure both feet are in the groove, and you're just kind of centering this in here because we won't need any of the rest of that paper. Okay, perfect. Don't need that. Set this aside. We're done with that. We can put that away, and we're going to bring back in our cranberry cardstock now. So our first, we're going to be matting these fun little mittens border makers. So we're going to do 2 1.5 by 12. So whether you want to go this direction or cut it in this direction, it doesn't really matter, whichever you're most comfortable with, but you just want to make sure it's nice and straight. So we got a 1.5. We're going to do that one more time. 1.5. Then we need a 5.5 by 12, and your 5.5 is just the edge of this trimmer, so that's nice and easy to remember. So just make sure your paper's nice and straight. And cut that. And then we are doing 3 1/4. So you have a little bit more than that. So find your 3, move it over to the corner, and make sure your paper's nice and straight in there. So this little smidge is extra. You can get rid of that. And then we are ready to start putting our pages together. So let me move that out of the way. And let's bring back in our base papers. These are just gorgeous, aren't they? Look at those. And they float together. How cool is that? Love that the designers did that. Okay, so let's just flip it over and let's start with our mittens. So we're going to take our mittens. So put them up here so you can see them. And we're going to put adhesive on the back. Now this is the perfect use for your repo tape. So you flip it over. I'm going to make sure you can still see what I'm doing here. I'm going to push that up a smidge. I'm going to push that over. Oh, and I grabbed the wrong tape. Oh, I hate when I do that. Ah, I had the wrong tape and the wrong thing. I keep the tape in different color ones, but I had a card class yesterday, and I needed more regular tape, so I switched them out just to mess with me. And now we've got a little tape on the back of this that I'm just going to have to push over. That's the good thing about repo tape, is that you don't have to worry about doing that and trying to get the tape in the little tiny spaces. So let's go ahead and use the repo tape this time. Then we have our strip that we should just be able to, because we want to be able to see all the little mittens. And just line that up right in there, just like that. Now we're going to do that one more time. Find your mittens. We're flipping it over to the stripe side. And bringing this back up and just putting that behind there. Just like that. Awesome. So now we have 2 other strips that we cut with the red cardstock. So now we're just going to center these and these. So you can either use your repo, you can use your regular tape, whichever you want to do. But we're just centering those in between there so that they're nice and straight. So that really pops those mittens. And let's do this again. Hope everyone is having a good day. It is beautiful here in Northwest Indiana today. We have, it's almost 50 degrees, so yay. Pop in the comments below where you're at and how cold it is there today. And I'm going to put, there's a little bit, this is sticking up a little bit, so I'm going to grab my repo and just put a little bit more in there. So that's laying nice and flat. Okay, so let's move these out of the way, and we are going to be putting this strip down. So we're going to bring it over here, and we are doing about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so when you're working on double mats, that's nice and easy. We can line it up here at the bottom, line it up at the top, and stick it down. So go ahead and grab your big piece right there. Actually, it's the second to big piece because this one's going to go on this side. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch. We bring that in about right there. Line it up. Make sure my paper is nice and straight. Line it up at the top and the bottom. And there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and put these at the top, and I am doing it about 1/4 of an inch, give or take. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. It's scrapbooking, nothing's exact. And did I move you off the edge? Sometimes when I move it up, I forget to move you back down. So we are doing 1/4 inch from the top. Stick that down. And the same thing over here. Let's use this tape runner here and line our paper up nice and straight. 1/4 inch from the top on this side, 1/4 inch from the top on this side, and there we go. Perfect. Now we're going to bring this giant piece back in right here. Put some adhesive on that. And we are going to bring that down. Let's line this up. We're going to bring it down about 1.25 inches. Kind of lining it up in between here a little bit. So whether you go 2 inches, 2 inches and 1/4 to 2.5 inches. I kind of like 2 inches and 1/4 the best because we're going to do some stickers down here. Okay. Now we have this beautiful plaid piece that we're bringing in. And that's just going to be centered in this piece right here. So make sure your paper's nice and straight. Sometimes it's moving on me. And lining it up just like that. Okay, so then we have a mat that we're bringing in here. And then we have our circle that we cut. That's going to go right here. Okay, and then we're ready to start putting our pictures on. So let's go ahead and stick this down. And there we go. Let's stick this down. Perfect. And let me grab my photos. So we had our first snow here in Northwest Indiana was on Halloween. That's not right. But our next kind of big snow we had was a week or so ago. So I got some pictures from that day. We had a little bit of a whiteout. Got a picture here, some beautiful trees, and the snow was starting to pile up. And then it's funny because, like, remember when you were a kid how you loved snow days? Oh my goodness. I'm not a big fan of snow. So I love the little memes that are like, welcome to winter, driving where lanes are made up and stop signs are optional. Sometimes when I just find these little funny things, I have to print them and have to send them. This one says snow thanks. And it says, just remember, every cold day is one step closer to summer. So you know what? I love the snow coming down. It looks like a snow globe. Love it. But I probably already had enough for the year. I don't know about you. Do you love snow? Put it in the comments. I'd love to see what people think about snow. It is beautiful coming down, but that's about it for me. So we can figure out where we want to put our pictures here. I cropped these down just a smidge. This was a whiteout. This was like toward the end of my subdivision, and you literally couldn't see any of the stores. You couldn't see anything. This was about a week and a half ago. So let me go ahead and stick this picture down. Center that in the opening there. And I'm going to stick these down, and then we're going to do our sticker clusters. And once again, I want to remind you that you pop on over to Nicole and Donna's page and make sure you get to do 4 more pages. We're doing 6 pages from this paper pack and sticker pack, so don't forget that. And if you love taking a paper pack and turning it into pages, that is my jam, people. I love that. I have Paper Pack to Pretty Pages site where I take a paper pack and I turn it into 4 or 8 pages, and I do that for almost every single paper pack. So make sure you check that out below. Okay, now we're going to use burr because it was cold that day. And I'm going to bring that in about right here. We got our little exclamation point. Kind of work backwards here. And I don't want these straight because when it's cold, you're kind of shivering, and I don't think it needs to be straight. So I'm just going to put them on just like that. Burr. And I don't know, I think we need a little something else here. So grab those little snow boots. Let's throw that in like about right here. And I don't know, I think we need a snowflake up there. Let's just throw that one right in there. Awesome. Okay, let's come back over here. Now that day it was a white out. You couldn't see. And actually there was white out on the stickers, so that's perfect. So I'm going to throw this little heart down here. So this will pop it a little bit more. Now you could definitely use some foam squares on this if you wanted. I'm just gonna put it straight on there, just like that. And maybe let's throw in a little snowflake down there. Okay. Now, because when you were a kid, and this is my granddaughter, she loves the snow. She couldn't wait to get outside to play in it. Snow days. That just reminds me of being a kid and loving every snow day that we had, and you got off school. And I think it's kind of weird now that the kids don't get off school. Ever since COVID, they have home days or whatever they call it, and they don't get off school. They have to do their work at home. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. Seems like teachers need a day off, kids need a day off, but I guess then you got to work later in the year, so it all works out. But I put a little bit of foam squares on the back of that because, first of all, I love foam squares. And second of all, it's just giving it a little bit of dimension. So let's put that on here just like this. Heart snow days, because I did. I loved snow days when I was a kid. And let's throw a few little snowflakes on here. Let's put that one there, there, and maybe, I don't know, one over here. Do we need any more snowflakes? Maybe one over here. Let's throw one right there. And I think we're done. So hope you enjoyed this, and happy scrapbooking.